Very excited to share with you guys our current status and where we're at, and I know you guys are excited as well. I think we've all been waiting for this type of product, so very exciting stuff. So consider this a sneak peek. Within this GoToWebinar application that we're using, you guys should be able to ask some questions. They have some raise hand feature. It's a little bit hard with this many people on to open up the mic to everyone. There's a lot of background noise, so you'll just be able to hear me. You won't be able to talk. We won't be able to hear the background noise. But excuse me, feel free to ask questions, and I won't stop in the middle of the webinar to answer them, but I'll do my best at the end to get them answered. So that's kind of how this works. Also, within this program, there are some poll questions. So I'll be asking a couple different poll questions throughout the webinar that you can interact with, and we can all look at that data together. So kind of cool stuff. So here we go. Okay, all of our existing rezStream clients currently, but I like to kind of go through and talk a little bit about rezStream. As far as who we are, as most of you know, we were established in 2005 as rezStream. Prior to that, operating under a different business name known as rezOvation. Most of you guys are very familiar with that history. We're located, headquartered here out of Denver, Colorado. We've got about 21 employees here at rezStream. About 3 or so of those employees are remote. We've got a couple programmers remote in Minnesota and Michigan, and a sales rep, Sean Hopkins, out in Texas. As far as what we do, we provide software and internet services. So rezStream has 2 different divisions broken up that way, if you will. On the software side, the reservation software, the online booking engine, connection to the GDS services with online travel websites and travel agents. On the internet services side, we touch a lot of different things to help independent properties out. We do custom and turnkey websites. We do internet marketing services, search engine optimization, pay-per-click, social media marketing. We have photography and video services, so we try and cover the whole gambit for you guys. As far as who we work with, independent properties only, and those typically with 100 rooms or less. That's really where our wheelhouse is. We don't work with chains. We don't work with very large resorts. Our products and services are focused around the smaller independent properties. As far as why we do it, guys, the founders of rezStream have really set the tone, and the current owner, Christian Holmsen, continues to set the tone with what we're all about here. We're very passionate, and that's who we look to hire in terms of employees. The founders, actually, their family had owned a property in Estes Park, Colorado. So growing up, they got to see what it was like to work at an independent property and not necessarily have all the advantages of the big boy chain hotels that have unlimited funds and marketing budgets. So that's really why rezStream was put together, to provide, you know, superior tools to help you guys manage your business and also make money. And then education. Education is very important to us. rezStream is very lucky to be able to work with many great properties of different sizes all across the country, and we love sharing other properties' experience with you guys, as most of you typically deal with your property. You know, we get the benefit of working with a lot of people, so we like to share those experiences with others and open the minds of maybe trying some different and unique things. So that's what we're all about here at rezStream. Very, very passionate. We love helping you guys out. As far as me, there's me over on the left, so you know, please don't giggle at me. But a little bit about me for those of you that don't know or haven't joined a webinar series before. My wife and I, we've been married for 5 years, together for 19, actually coming up on 20 years. So we started dating when we were just puppies back in 7th grade, so a really unique story there. I have a 4-year-old daughter. She is hilarious, and I would say the boss of the household, that's for sure. I was born and raised here in Denver. Been here my whole life, absolutely love it. Big sports fan, sports enthusiast of all types, playing myself in recreational leagues or following our professional teams here. At rezStream, I've been here a little over 5 years. It'll be 6 years in October. Have loved every single minute of it. Have learned so much and talked to so many different people, and I just absolutely enjoy it. As far as my responsibilities, you know, I'm in charge of the sales side, the marketing for the company as it relates to sales, and the support staff. So if anything, you know, falls in those lines, you know, I'm probably the one to blame. So if you guys want to call and yell at me, please feel free. That's what I'm here for. You know, something funny here, I asked one of our designers, Joe Jenkins, I asked him to kind of make my chest and my arms a little bit bigger here in this picture so I could look a little more muscular, but couldn't get that request granted. So that's me, no editing there. As far as what I'm about, I really enjoy helping people. I'm a people person. Love finding out, you know, what you guys are trying to accomplish and giving you advice and education and helping out any way I can. So for those of you that have had the chance to deal with me, hopefully you had a great experience. And for those of you that may have not, you know, reach out to me. No question's a dumb question, and nothing is too small to come across my desk. So I really encourage it. Okay, table of contents. We'll kind of go through, and you'll see in the upper left-hand corner of each of the slides, you'll kind of see the different sections that we're on, so you kind of get an idea of where we're at through this presentation here. I'm going to do my best to keep it within an hour. I do get a little wordy, and I know that we've all been kind of waiting to get some updates on this particular product, so it may go a little bit longer. I am recording this session, so if you have something pressing to do or you got to jump off, please feel free to do so, and you'll be able to have access to that recording on our website. Okay, why are we here? rezStream is dedicated to empowering our clients with superior reservation software. And what we've done here internally, guys, is we've really made a pledge to ourselves and to our clients to provide the most innovative and effective solutions for you guys and for your business and your properties. And the way that we accomplish those things is through our knowledge, our passion, and our experience. So you'll notice over here on the left-hand side, this is kind of what we've done, what we did, and then how we did it. So I thought it was important to share these things with you guys. So first and foremost, you know, we're building a reservation software for you, okay? And I capitalized the you. And that's really important to us here at rezStream. And the reason why is I talk to a lot of properties that aren't rezStream clients, and they work with a lot of other vendors out there. And, you know, I hear these complaints about these reservation softwares and these tools about how, you know, they did it because they thought it was the best. Well, what we've really done here, guys, is we've collected feedback for 10+ years. And up until this point, we've had a running spreadsheet with hundreds and hundreds of things of feedback, and we've tried to organize this spreadsheet based on the things that we hear the most. And that's what's really driving this product, and that's how we're laying this product out, is based on feedback from you guys. You guys are the ones using this product, not us. So we're going to build this solution. We have built this solution. We'll continue to enhance this solution around your needs. As far as making it accessible from every device, this has been a need that's been a growing trend in the industry that you guys have had for a couple years now. You guys are on the go. You guys are busy. As a small property owner that manages a small property, you wear multiple hats, and you're all familiar with that. So you really, as innkeepers, don't really ever get to stop working Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. Even when you take days off or you're at the grocery store trying to get away, you need to be dialed into your business. So that's what we're trying to provide by putting this reservation software in the cloud on the internet, is so that you have access from any device. And we've done exactly that by making it cloud-based and making this solution responsive. So that way, whether it's a laptop, a tablet, a mobile phone, you're going to have access to that tool that helps you run and manage your business every single day. Making it feature-rich, okay? Very, very important to us, as I'm sure it is others. And the way that we're making this product feature-rich and will continue to do so is from your feedback, is from staying on top of the industry trends and doing our industry homework. This is what we do for a living, and by staying on top of the market, we're able to stay ahead of the curve for you guys, and that's exactly what this product's all about. And then updates, consistent updates, feeding you guys what it is that you're asking for, as well as staying in tune with the industry to give you things that you may not know that you need, but being able to stay ahead of the curve to give you those things. We wanted to make sure that this solution was fast, reliable, and redundant. And the way that we've gone about that is through utilizing the right database structure and the application language, and by putting that solution in the cloud for you guys. The programmers spent a ton of time doing research in terms of determining what structures to use and what programs to use and language and tools. And I won't pretend to be an expert on any of that because I'm not on that side of the house. But as it's been explained to me, it's very exhaustive, the amount of research that's been done, and we feel very, very proud of the direction that we've moved in. Making this solution easy to use, very, very important, and that's what I love most about our programmers is they want it to be user-friendly. And you use a lot of programs out there, and sometimes you get frustrated because it's not as intuitive as you think it should be. Well, that's our goal here with everything that we do. So for those of you that use our booking engine and have seen the Res2U booking engine and how simple we've made that, you know, that's a standard here, and we pride ourselves on that. So come to expect that with this cloud reservation software. Our attention to detail is second to none, and ensuring that we go through some testings with live users through alpha and beta testing, that's exactly how we're going to make this product easy to use. The other thing that's important to us is, as I'm sure you guys are aware, is the feedback. Again, this software is for you, so hearing your feedback is imperative to the success of this software for both rezStream and all of you that are going to be using this. Now, the way that we're going to be controlling feedback in the future is not like it's been in the past. In the past, an example would be is you email us, you call us, we write it down, we put it in that big spreadsheet I was talking about. In the future, we're going to take advantage of some of the technology out there and the tools, and we're going to have the ability for you guys to give feedback on features within a community, and everyone that partakes in that community is going to be able to have a vote on that feature or those features listed in there, and that's what's really going to drive the future of this product. Obviously, everyone has some needs in a software, but for a company like us that has to make a call on if we're going to do request 1 or request 407, we need the feedback from the masses, and that's what's going to control the direction. So that's really what we've done here, guys, and how we've done it. Moving on, what is the cloud? What is the cloud? I talked to many of you guys, and some of you are very technology savvy, and others of you are not. So it's important for me to help you guys understand what the cloud is, okay? So going through this here, the best way to describe the cloud is to kind of go back in time a little bit. And back in time, your files and your photos and your music, this used to be stored on a piece of hardware, okay? And this hardware could have been your computer drive. It could have been a floppy disk. It could have been a CD, okay? So things have evolved over time. And today, if you use Facebook or you use, you know, iTunes to access your music, or if you're watching movies on Netflix, this is how things have evolved over time. So all of this data has now gone from being on a physical piece of hardware to now being in the cloud. And think of the cloud as a fancy way of saying the internet, okay? So with that being said, this slide here is to help you, or those of you that maybe didn't know what the cloud means or aren't sure if you're using those applications. I would venture to guess that the majority of you, if not all of you, have used some of these programs or others that aren't listed. Facebook or email service through Yahoo or Gmail or AOL. AOL, for example, has been around forever. It's been around for more than a decade. So that's a cloud email service that you guys are using. Netflix, iTunes, these are things that you should be comfortable with. So for those of you out there that have had conversations with, or I have yet to, that have expressed some concern about the cloud or a little hesitation about it, you guys have been using it. Your online booking engine, if you use an online booking engine today, rezStreams or Reservations or Availability Online, what have you, that's in the cloud, okay? So do not be scared of this. This is where things have been going. It's where things have been. It's where the future is. As far as the benefits, going through the benefits here. Cost effective, and what do I mean by that? Well, there's no servers, there's no additional licenses needed. You can minimize some IT staffing needs. So let me give you some examples here. Let's say some of you guys need access remotely, and you use some type of a server with terminal services on it. Well, that goes away. For those of you that are using remote access software like GoToMyPC or PC Anywhere, that goes away. By putting this reservation software in the cloud, you're going to be able to access it through any device that has internet access with a simple username and password. So it's going to save you some money. It's going to get rid of some of those additional tools or people that you may be utilizing today. Unlimited storage here, not running out of space, okay? So what I mean by that is, for those of you, or all of you, excuse me, that are using rezStream Professional today, it resides locally on a computer. And you have other applications that you run on that computer, and as you continue to store data on that computer, you run out of space, and as a result, you either need to buy more space or buy a beefier computer. Well, that's not going to be a problem in the future as it relates to this Cloud PMS reservation software. Backup and recovery. I talk to a lot of people about this, and it's a concern for everyone. Now, knock on wood, this never happens to any of you, but if your computer crashes, is your data backed up? A lot of you do a good job of backing it up either nightly, every other night, weekly, monthly, what have you, but a lot of you do those backups on an external hard drive that's located at the property. So God forbid, you know, your property burns down or there's an act of God. What happens? How are you going to recover that data? Well, you're not is the answer. So even if you're doing a backup, you may not be doing it the best way to protect yourself. Well, all of that stuff goes away in the future with the cloud because all the backups are done automatically for you. The database resides in multiple different locations. There's going to be redundancy in the cloud, so you don't have to worry about processing your backup. You don't have to worry about uploading your database to rezStream like you have the option to do now. All of this stuff is going to be managed in a secure data center and done for you. As far as recovery, you know, let's say an issue happens and that database needs to be recovered for your property. It's going to be handled by experts. rezStream is definitely not an expert in recovering data or backing up data, so we're putting it in the hands of those that do that for a living, just like you guys don't do it for a living. So this is where we're going with this new product. The last point I felt worth reference here is exporting your data whenever you want. If you want to get all your data out of that program, it's not a problem. Just because it's in the cloud and rezStream has that information, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have access to it. So all of that stuff is going to be very simple. The idea here is to simplify your life, save you money, allow you to be more efficient, and focus on what's important to your business, which is your guests. Some more benefits here for the cloud, guys. Easy access. As I mentioned before, any device, anywhere you are that has access to the internet. So I've got some pictures over here. Whether it's a laptop and you're at Starbucks, whether it's your tablet because you're at home and you're working from home or you want to work from home now. Whether it's your smartphone, you're in the car and hopefully you're not being distracted driving, right? Or you're at the grocery store or wherever it is that you need access, you're now going to have the ability. And this is something that people have been asking for years, and it's finally here. So it's going to make your lives much easier to run your business. Security. The cloud software in the data center. So not only can you back it up, not only can we recover it, but it's going to be secure, and the professionals are going to handle that for you. The speed, okay, this is a big one. I hear a lot of complaints about rezStream's running slow, right? Well, no longer is all that data going to reside locally on your computer. So for those of you that have a computer that's more than a couple years old, 5 years old, however old it is, it's not going to matter anymore because other applications that you run are not going to slow down rezStream. The amount of contacts and invoices and all that data that you've had for years and years and years, that no longer is going to impact you know, the speed of this software. So that's what our focus is providing that solution for you and eliminating those crutches that you've had in the past. Updates. I think this is a big one, okay? how many of you have ever gone within rezStream Professional, how many of you have ever gone to help and then support and download rezStream Update? It's a pain. It's 2 or 3 clicks to have to do. You need to know when an update is available, which means rezStream has to push it out to you. And the way in which we do updates today is not conducive for 2014 and beyond. So in the future here, we're going to be able to get these updates to you much more frequently, much more consistently, and it's going to get done automatically. So all of our lives are going to get easier with this product, and again, another benefit of having the cloud. Okay. So I'm at the point where I'm going to push out a poll question. So I've put together some poll questions here. So you should be able to see this on your screen. And I'd like you guys to go ahead and answer this question for me. And I'll give us about a minute or so and give everyone an opportunity to kind of weigh in here. And then I'll be able to show the results, okay? So you should see that question right there on your screen. And it should pop up. And basically what I'm trying to figure out here is there a concern? Do you have a concern that your reservation software is now going to be online in the cloud compared to what it is today, which is locally residing on your computer? So I got about 67% of the people have voted, so we'll give about 20, 30 more seconds for people. And then I'll go ahead and share this information with you. Okay, about 90%. So about 5, 10 more seconds here, guys, and then I'm going to shut this poll down and move on. And I'm going to share this feedback with you. Okay, I'm going to close it down here. And I'm going to share this information with you. So you should be able to see it on your screen. So about 17% of you said, yes, Josh, dang it, I am concerned. I am concerned with this reservation software being online, being in the cloud on the internet. 62% of you said, no, I'm not concerned at all. It doesn't concern me. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. I'm either using something in the cloud today or I'm okay with where this technology is going. And 21% of you said you're not sure. And that's okay. There's no right or wrong answer here, but this is good feedback. To revisit, guys, if you've used Facebook, if you've used Yahoo, Gmail, AOL email, if you've used Netflix, these things are on the cloud. The booking engine, your existing booking engine is on the cloud, and it works, and your guests use it, and they love it because it's convenient. This is what this cloud reservation software is going to be for you. It is going to be convenient. It is going to be easy. It is going to be accessible anywhere that you're at. Now, some of you may not like that. Some of you may not want to check your phone or your laptop while you're on vacation, and dang it, I don't blame you. But for those of you that do want it, guess what? You now have that access. For those of you that have servers, for those of you that use remote access software, those tools are going to go away. You're not going to need them anymore. You're going to have your own username and password, as is everyone on your staff, and they're going to be able to access this reservation software online. So for those of you that still have concerns, please, please call me, email me. Let's talk about it together, okay? All right, moving on here. Where do we stand? What is the current status? And let me hide this poll here. What is the current status? Yeah, I'm showing, sorry. You should be able to see my screen here, hopefully. You see it? No? Okay. Here we go. There we go. It's back up. So a little delay there. Sorry about that. Little hitch. Where do we stand? What's the current status? Well, we've been working on this reservation software for the past 18 months. So for any of you out there that are saying, oh my gosh, what's taking so long, I said the same thing, and I've said it 100 times, and you know, trust me, I'm in the same boat. However, let me be very clear about this. Industry standards, from what I've seen in talking with some friends that I have at our competition, is around 2 years, a little over 2 years, okay? So when you look at it like, oh my gosh, it seems like forever, the amount of research and the amount of programming and the amount of feedback that's received from those properties like you guys that are using this is imperative. Again, we're building this solution for you. We're not building something that we think you need. We're building you something that you've told us that you need and that you want. And we're building it so that this solution is not only a major factor in your business today, but for the foreseeable future. No one likes having to switch reservation softwares or shopping around or even talking to salespeople for that matter. So we want to ensure that this product is a very beautiful product that is user-friendly and feature-rich, and we will do that more importantly than we are to try and meet a deadline. Okay, it's more important to have a great quality product that's bug and issue-free than we are just trying to get it out and get it into your hands, because if you have a bad user experience, it's not going to go well for anyone. Currently, we're in alpha testing, and we've got about 3 properties. And the whole idea behind the alpha testing is to make sure that conceptually you're in the right, on the right path, the right road, is to ensure that the things are working the way that they should be in terms of conceptual and theory, okay? And we fine-tune that process with our alpha testers. Then what's going on here, guys, is we're going to begin beta testing, okay? And the goal here is to begin beta testing in May. And we're going to do beta testing with several dozen properties. And now I'm sure some of you are thinking, I want to be in the beta, let's all get in the beta. I would love that. However, you know, in order to ensure that we can handle the feedback that we get, and in order to ensure that we can move through that feedback and implement that feedback, we really need to control the pace and the size of the beta testing. I would love for all 700 of our customers that use our software to be able to be a beta tester. Unfortunately, it's just not realistic. So this is how we're rolling this out. And we expect this beta process to last a couple of months. You don't open the beta and get feedback in 2 weeks, and next thing you know, you make all these adjustments and you're done. It doesn't work like that. We have to make sure that the feedback that we're getting makes sense for everyone. We can't just get feedback for property 1 and assume that that property 1's feedback is going to work for everyone else. So we have to be very diligent about how we go about that process. As far as important steps to finalize here, guys, you know, the online booking engine, obviously the reservation software has to be in place before we can get that booking engine in place. You will see the same online booking engine in terms of features, in terms of look and feel, in terms of the theme that we upgraded you guys on a year or 2 ago. So you'll see that out of the gate at launch. And then from that point, we'll be able to come back to the booking engine and add on a bunch of advanced features. But nonetheless, you will not be taking any steps backwards at launch of that booking engine. GDS integration. For those of you that are using InLink for GDS services, which is a way to get you to increase visibility out there with the online travel agents and the online travel websites, we're going to be working on that integration. And a shameless plug here, excuse me, we have a promotion on the GDS that runs through the end of May, $50 sign-up fee. If anyone is interested in trying it, reach out to us. But nonetheless, data exporting, making sure that you can export that data whenever you want. That's very important. Product documentation, the help files, the knowledge-based articles from the support staff, all of these things need to get finalized before we can launch this product. It's very important that you guys not only have access to a support team that knows the product inside and out when you want to use them, but for those of you that don't necessarily want to pick up the phone or you've got a quick question that can be answered quickly, that's what the knowledge base is for. We really want to make sure that those things are in place for you guys to get the help that you need when you need it. And then integration with our support tool that we use here internally, which is called Zendesk. For those of you that have worked with the support staff, Zendesk is a program that creates a ticket. It tracks that ticket. You can see your historical tickets in there. You can see the feedback from the staff, and it controls it all within these tickets. It's a great management tool that we've loved and got a lot of great feedback on. So we want to make sure that we can build that into Zendesk where, let me give you a use case example. You're in the reservation software and you have a question or you ran into an issue. You can click a button for help and it'll drop a ticket automatically to Zendesk, so you don't have to pick up the phone and call us or log into a different program. So that's where we're going. That's what the future holds, is making everyone's lives easier. Okay, Now to the good stuff. I call it the good stuff, the juicy stuff. These are screenshots that I'll be showing you. So it's not just Josh talking about the product and what we have, but this is me actually showing you screenshots of the product. I went in and over the last week as I've been putting this presentation together, taking these screenshots, and these are the things I'd like to talk to you guys about. So show me some features here. This little screenshot here is what I call the admin dashboard or the front desk dashboard, okay? So let me give you the theory here. The theory is every single user that logs into this reservation software is going to have their own username and password, and everyone is going to be able to have their own dashboard. Now, for a front desk person, the things that they may need to see on their dashboard are everything related to that day and what needs to get done. Here's my arrivals. Here's my stayovers from last night. Here's the departures if I have any, my no-shows, any units that are out of service. So this dashboard, as we continue to add different features to it and continue to get feedback from you guys, this is like an overview of your day or what it is you need to do to facilitate your job on a day-to-day basis. So that's the theory behind the dashboard. Something that I'd like you guys to pay attention to is pay attention to these little bubbles and these things over here. We call these tags, and I'll get to this later, but nonetheless reference these things. In addition to a front desk or an innkeeper dashboard, maybe an owner or a manager's dashboard. Maybe they need to see things more related to the business, whether it's revenue by unit or ADR or different graphs and pie charts. And the idea here behind this dashboard is when we launch this product, there will be certain things that you will be able to select from and certain things that certain users will have access to. And as we grow, you're going to be able to customize your dashboard. So if you want to see a little bit about the ADR or the revenue for the day, the week, the month, the year, and you also want to see the tasks that you have to do for that day and who's coming and who's going, you're going to be able to control that. So it will be unique to the user, and you'll have access to control that. We want to make sure that without having to dive into a bunch of different areas, you guys can see the things that are relevant and important to you on a day-to-day basis. So this is the dashboard. This is what we're building. And in doing exhaustive research and a bunch of other programs, I've never seen a dashboard before. So I'm pretty excited about this particular feature. Task management, okay? Hear me out on this one. I've had a lot of people over the years say it sure would be cool if there was an ability to have reminders or tasks or schedule things in this program, because I may use sticky notes, or I may use Microsoft Outlook, or I may use a third-party program to remind Sally front desk that she's got to deliver a romance package today, okay? Well, we're building this into the reservation software. So not only are you going to be able to schedule tasks for yourself, you're also going to be able to schedule tasks for others. There will be the ability to assign a priority level. This is urgent, has to get done immediately, or this is something a lower level priority that you have time. You're also going to be able to assign a due date, okay? So if you need Sally front desk to deliver the romance package of flowers and chocolates on Friday to room, a John Wayne room, you can certainly do this. Furthermore, when those tasks get done, you're going to be notified that that was done, so you don't have to follow up with Sally front desk. So we're trying to make your life easier. We're trying to make the organization simplified, and we're trying to save you money so you don't have to use third-party tools, or make you more efficient so you don't have to take extra steps in logging out and logging into a different program. That's the idea here behind this task management. I hope you guys are excited of this feature as I am. This is one that I've probably heard, maybe not the most about, but let me explain this to you guys. So this applies here, and I tried to do it with the little arrow, and this applies down here, okay? Two things that we've heard a gazillion times, and I don't exaggerate with the gazillion. The reservation status by color. Think of the occupancy map as it relates to rezStream Professional today. You have a couple of colors, and they're based on payment status. Red means you've taken no payment at all. Yellow means you've taken a partial payment or a deposit. Green means you've taken a payment in full. Now we're opening this thing up. So you can either have colors by payment status, and you can pick the colors of your choice. as well as you can have colors related to in-house statuses. So you'll notice that we've got checked in, checked out, future, no-show, and we'll continue to build these things in the future. You also have some other colors. Some people like to color their booking engine reservations different from their GDS. Some people want to color reservations based on package or repeat guests. Some people want to color things based on out-of-service rooms. Guys, it doesn't matter. Color away. Pick the colors you want. Identify what you want those colors to stand for. That's exactly what we're building in this software based on the feedback of gazillions of people. As far as the controlled display settings here, being able to adjust the cell width and height on the occupancy map. Okay, what I mean by that is, how many of you have contacted rezStream and said, I can't really see this screen that well. I need it to be bigger. My eyes aren't that great. I don't want to have to wear my glasses all day long when I'm working in the program. Or how many of you have upgraded to larger monitors where the reservation software no longer fits within that monitor screen? I know me personally, when I do demos, I've got a 23-inch monitor and the reservation software doesn't fill out the screen, so it looks a little goofy. That's not going to happen anymore. The reservation software is going to display within a browser. The browser will fit your screen perfectly, as it does now when you're on the internet, using the internet through the browser. Furthermore, you're going to be able to control the settings and the size of these cells within the occupancy map. So think of a cell as, here's my room, John Wayne room, and here's each day of the week, the month. You're going to be able to control how big, how small, how wide you want those things. So no more are you going to have issues with seeing this thing. So for those of you out there saying hallelujah, we did this for you. As well as those things on the occupancy map, we've got some additional things here that we're building in, and you know, I've heard this a ton of times, and I'm really excited about this here. So I tried to make these pictures as big as possible, so I apologize if they don't align, but I wanted you guys to be able to see them here. So important information on the occupancy map, okay? What does that mean? Contact information, historical room and invoice info, okay? So the name of the person, how many reservations they have had or have currently, their invoice history, their contact information, the private notes. Who doesn't want to know that Vanessa doesn't like feather pillows, right? So what I'm saying here is, how many of us have gone into the occupancy map and made a reservation, and then we have to take another step where we're adding the person onto that reservation, and then finally we get to the contact data screen where we'll see all of their invoice history, and we see what rooms they've stayed in, we see their contact information. What we're doing here to simplify the process for you and make the program more user-friendly is we're trying to get all of the relative important information about that reservation in one place, okay? We want to add it to the occupancy map. So when you're making a reservation, you have all of the pertinent information that you need so you don't have to jump back from screen to screen. And this is what I mean by the programming staff is phenomenal about focusing on the usability of this product. Very important for us, and we've gotten this feedback oftentimes. So through our beta testing and through the maturation of this reservation software, we'll continue to get feedback and put the information that you guys need relevant right there in front of your face as you're working through your day-to-day tasks. The other concept that we got feedback on through our advisory board and through the history of this product is people handle reservations differently, okay? A lot of you get a phone call and they say that they want the John Wayne room on Saturday and Sunday. Well, you go in and you book that room, and then you worry about who the person is and making sure you have their phone number and their email address so you have them in your database and you can contact them, okay? Well, the other half of the camp has given us feedback that they want to start with the person. They want a more personalized touch. So for those boutique properties or those bed and breakfasts that want that personalized touch, they want to start with the person. So they pick up the phone and they see that Tom Jones called, and they want to make sure that Tom knows that they remember them. Tom, are you still out in Bardstown, Kentucky? Yeah, Tom, great. I see that you came here and you stayed in this room last time. Would you like that room again? Okay, so we're going to give you guys the ability to choose how you want to make reservations, because that is the meat and potatoes of what you're doing day to day with this reservation software. So if you want to start with the room and worry about the information of the person secondary, great, go at it. If you want to start with the person for that more intimate touch, by all means, we're going to give you the ability to do that. So I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on this. When I was out at PI in January and I was going through this, people really love this, and what I found was it's about 50-50 based on the 30-40 people that I had talked to at that show that either prefer the room, then the person, or the person and then the room. Nonetheless, guys, flexibility, options, convenience, efficiency. This is what this product is going to do for you. This is how your lives are going to get simpler. I hope you're as excited as I am. Okay, moving on. Next poll question here. I'm going to push out another poll question to you guys. Let me get that going here. This second question here is, which remote device will you use most often to access the cloud reservation software? So you should be able to see that in your screen now. And I'm curious to get your guys' feedback here. And I'd really love to know, for those of you that are going to utilize this software and its remote capabilities, any device, anytime, which is it that you think you'll use most often? Also, guys, for those of you, you probably have the question, well, Josh, I have an iPhone. Josh, I have a BlackBerry. Josh, I have an Android. I've got an Apple iPad. I've got a Windows tablet. It doesn't matter. It does not matter the device, okay? If it has access to the internet, you're going to be able to utilize this reservation software on that device, wherever you want, whenever you want, as long as it has access to the internet. So we got about 85% of you have put in your vote here. So I'll give you a couple more seconds here, and then I'll share these results with you. Okay, I'm going to close it down, and I'm going to share these results. And it should be on your screen now. About 38% of you said you're going to use your laptop. Your laptop is your go-to, which is great. I understand that. About 13% of you said the mobile phone, which is also understandable. It's a smaller device. Maybe it's in emergency situations or what have you. Surprisingly, 47% of you said tablet, which is great. I didn't know that many of our clients were using tablets. So to me, this is just validating what it is that we're doing here, putting this solution on the internet, in the cloud, giving you guys the access that you want on the devices that you use. About 2% of you said, I don't need remote access, which is fine, guys. It's there if you ever need it, whether it's today, in 2 years, in 5 years, it's going to be there. If you don't need it, by all means, you absolutely do not have to use it, okay? Okay, let me see if I can't shut this down, and then you should be back to my screen now if I'm not mistaken. So thank you very much for sharing that feedback, very important to us. Tag, you're it. I thought that was a cute tagline. It brought me back to my childhood days when I used to have some athletic ability. This is what I was trying to talk to you guys, and I mentioned to pay attention to earlier when I was showing you the dashboard. We built in this concept of tagging, okay? And tagging is you're going to have the ability to tag a person, a contact, a guest, or you're going to have the ability to tag a reservation, okay? Now, why would you tag a person or a contact, a guest? You could tag them for interests, hobbies. Do they want to get your email campaigns? Are they interested in upgrades when you offer it to them via email or when they come on site? Anything you can think of. I put some example tags up here. They're a VIP guest. They're a bad guest I don't want back in my property because they skipped me on a bill or they broke some stuff. They're getting breakfast tomorrow. The feather pillow situation, or they have a package that needs to be delivered. You're going to be able to control how many tags you have, the color of those tags, and what you want to utilize those tags for, okay? Now, for those of you that are saying, oh my God, I don't want all of my staff to be able to create a tag, I could now have 5 tags that mean the same thing but are said in 5 different ways. Well, that's where user permission levels are going to come in. So if you don't want Sally front desk night shift to be able to add a tag or edit a tag, then don't give her that access. Maybe you just want the manager to do it. Maybe you as the owner want to be able to do it. So it will not be a situation where it gets out of hand. It is a situation where you're going to be able to keep these tags to help you remember things related to these guests so you can provide a better overall experience when they come to your property, and that's what it's all about. Happy guests are what? They're repeat guests, right? So let's make sure that we make them happy and we utilize the tools that we have to do so. Continuing on with tags, you can also tag a reservation. What is it that you would need to tag a reservation for? Breakfast, again, maybe a package, maybe it's an appointment, okay? A package, a ghost tour, horseback riding, a romance package. I need to make sure that I get that package into their room during their stay. An appointment, if you partner with anyone else, horseback riding, ski lift tickets, or riding a shuttle to get there. Maybe it's something that you offer at your property. Maybe you do spa services. Maybe you do a restaurant. Maybe you got a restaurant on site or that you work with that you book tables for. Okay, these are some ideas that you can use tag for at the reservation level. Now you'll notice these tags are also showing up here on the reservation. Right, here's everything related to the reservation. I have separate tags here. And I'm just going to hop back a screen. Whereas the person, so this would be the contact or the contact data screen, my tags are tied to the person here, guys. So endless ideas, endless opportunities. Hopefully you think this feature is going to help you and your staff to be able to deliver what you need to do, know the information you need about your guest or your reservation. I feel this is a pretty nifty feature. Hopefully you guys do as well. Okay, moving on. Reporting, okay? So reports are a vital part of your business, right? You have data in, you need to get data out, okay? What we've tried to do is we tried to make this report section more user-friendly. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm also going to talk about what the future has in store as it relates to reports. Here's a screenshot of the report section, okay? So what's the first thing that you notice? Well, no more clicking to drill down into the reports. So in rezStream Professional today, you got to drill down 2, 3, 4 levels to get to the report that you want. That's not going to happen anymore. The other thing that I know my internal support staff is excited about, which I'm sure all of you are as well, there's descriptions, okay? No more guessing what the report is about. We're going to tell you what the report is about. That seems common sense. Unfortunately, I think we missed the ball in the last software, and we're making up for it now. You're also going to have a search bar, okay? Maybe in 2 years we have hundreds and hundreds of reports in here. I'm not sure what the future is going to hold, but you're going to be able to search on what you want, whether it's the name of the report, the specific action, a specific thing within the report. You're going to be able to search on that, and it's going to display the results relative to that search, okay? So that's what we're doing. That's what we've done with the report section of the new software. In addition, we're adjusting the options that you can see as it relates to the data. Oftentimes, I hear people telling me, boy, I sure would love to be able to compare that data on this report to a different time frame. Well, that's the theory of where we're going. For those reports that need to be compared, not only are you going to be able to pick start and end dates or certain periods, but you're going to be able to look at different things related to the total numbers or rate plans, units, categories, items. It doesn't matter. Another feature that I find very appealing is pay attention to these columns here, revenue, tax collected, revenue and taxes on this particular report. Well, if I come over here and I click this little checkbox, tax collected, this column's going to go away. So maybe you want to run a report every single day and you don't need all the data that's in the report. You're now going to be able to pick and choose what data it is that you want to see and don't want to see. I find that to be very cool because in the existing software, it's a canned report. It is what it is, and you get exactly that. Furthermore, you guys should be seeing up here, and I'm hoping that you're as excited about this as I am, not only can you print the reports, you can attach them in emails and fire them off. You can save the reports, or you can export the reports. You're going to be able to export these into PDFs or Excel spreadsheets. Oh my God, it's like Christmas, right? How many of you have asked us to have this data to be able to be exported into an Excel spreadsheet? Now you're going to have that in the future. Something else that's going to come post-launch down the road, and we're working on this to determine the best way to go about it, is I don't necessarily want to use the word customizable report because that may be a little misleading, but the theory here is if the data is in the reservation software, daggone it, you ought to be able to get that data out. What do I mean by that? Josh, I want to have a report that I can say I want to see data piece number 1 and data piece number 14 and data piece number 127, and I want that all on that report, and I want to be able to save that report and run it again, okay? That's the theory of where we're going. That will not be available at launch. However, that's what's on the roadmap and will be there down the road. So I think we've taken major strides forward as it relates to reporting, not only from the visual ability, the access to the reports, the description of the reports, so it's not so confusing, as well as comparing, removing fields, and exporting that data and being able to get the data that you want to see, okay? Very exciting. Okay, this is a big one. This is a big one here, and although it happens when you initially set up the software, and although it happens maybe not as frequently for some of you and maybe only one time annually for a lot of you, rate plans. Rate plans is the meat and potatoes of the program. This is the pricing. This is your additional charges for capacity. This is your minimum night stays. How many of us have wanted to rip our hair out every time we go in and change the rates and the seasons and the price of a room down to the day, okay? This is getting a major overhaul. In the future, you know, save your hair, okay? And I joke about it, but it's not really that funny. But this is going to get much simpler. So not only are you going to be able to set up your seasons and your rate plans, you're going to be able to get granular, and you're going to be able to jump into any rate plan that you've already created, and you're going to be able to jump in here and say, man, demand is high. Instead of $200 on Saturday night, I'm going to bump that baby up to $250, and same on Friday night. You're going to be able to do that. No longer are you going to have to build a rate within a rate to be able to accomplish those things. These are things that are going to be flexible and easy. Some other things that you're going to notice in here, some standard stuff. What's my base capacity? How much am I going to charge for additional people that I can allow? Minimum night stays, maximum stays. Some things here for people that require this, either resorts, mountain towns, touristy, tropical locations. If you, Florida, I'll use Florida as an example. I got a lot of properties in Florida that do 7-night minimums. Well, they want it to go from Saturday to Saturday. You got to check in on Saturday, you got to check out on Saturday. Well, currently we can't force that to happen, especially with the booking engine. That's changing in the future. So the ability not only to set up your seasons and rate plans, but the ability to edit them on the fly without wanting to rip your hair out. And when you go in and you adjust your rates annually or whatever you do, you're not going to want to be so frustrated and upset. It's going to be flexible. It's going to be smooth. It's going to be seamless. Now, this is what's going to be available when we launch this product. Now, the theory down the road is we want to be able to work in some type of calendar views for rates, potentially, where instead of looking at it as a bunch of sales, maybe you pick the dates on the calendar that you build your rate plans around. Other things that we've talked about internally that we'd like to see. You have your standard holidays. Well, it sure would be nice if we could get our standard holidays built into this program somehow, so that way we don't miss them. How many of us have forgot to raise the rate on a certain holiday that's coming up because it was an oversight? Or how about a local event, that Harley-Davidson event's coming into town, or that car show's coming into town where you're almost always 100% occupied and you want to raise your rates for that? It sure would be nice to build that into some type of calendar, so that way it could let you know that year after year these events are going on. Oh, by the way, don't forget to bump those rates. So that's where we're going. That's where we've gone. Very exciting, user-friendly. Again, the focus on you, making you more efficient, making sure that money's not left on the table, making sure mistakes aren't going to happen. That's where we're going here, guys. This particular section here, you know, I called it the future. I I wanted to talk about this a little bit, and I think you guys will greatly appreciate it, so let me make sure I'm very clear. What we're trying to do here, and I don't know if I'm showing off here, I'm not very good with PowerPoint, but I tried to get fancy. The Cloud PMS will provide a centralized management of your property, okay? So what do I mean by that? Rooms and rates and taxes, packages, point-of-sale items, pictures, room descriptions, deposit structures. You can read all that, right? What does that mean? Well, as you guys know, and you guys know better than I, if you change a room, a rate, a tax, you do it in the reservation software. If you change a room description, you do it in the reservation software. But if you change a picture, or you change your deposit structure for, say, the booking engine, or your terms and conditions, your policies on the booking engine, you got to log in to the rezstream.net admin portal. Well, how frustrating is it that I do half of my tasks in my software on my computer, and I do the other half of my tasks through an online cloud portal, if you will? Well, it's very frustrating, okay? That's going away. All that stuff's going to be done in the reservation software in the future, all of it. Rooms, rates, taxes, pictures, descriptions, policies. You make the change in the reservation software, and it'll push that information out to the booking engine, okay? Simplifying the process, making you more efficient, eliminating mistakes. Well, what are these other two things? Well, GDS, okay? For those of you that use InLink service today, you're very familiar. If you make a change to a room, a rate, a picture in rezStream, you also have to log into InLink and make the same change there. That's going away. We're rebuilding that connection to InLink to ensure that when you update it in the cloud, not only will it tell the booking engine, it's now going to tell your GDS channel, making your life that much more simpler, saving you those administrative tasks, allowing you to focus on your business, your guests, driving revenue. Our TCMS product, okay, turnkey content management system product. Not trying to give you a shameless plug here, but trying to tell you where we're going with the future, okay? We have a website product. It is a content management system. For those of you that are unfamiliar, that means that you can log into your website and you can edit your website, your content, your pictures, and that way you don't have to rely on a company and their time frame or being nickeled and dimed and charged hourly for that. Well, this existing product in the future is going to tie directly into that reservation software, okay? Well, what does that mean, Josh? Well, as I said, when you change a rate, when you change a picture, when you change some content, a room description, not only is the software going to tell the booking engine, it'll also tell the GDS if you use it. It will also update that information directly on your website. How much easier would your life be if you didn't have to log into 2 or 3 different systems to make the same change over and over? This is what this product is allowing us to do because it's cloud or internet-based, and these are the other tools and products that we're putting around that solution to make your lives better, to make you more money, to save you more time. I'm very, very, very excited about this. rezStream champions itself as not only being customer service driven and building products and making adjustments based on your feedback, but we also like to think of ourselves as an expert or a one-stop shop. So by having a software, a booking engine, a GDS, a website product that all ties in together, no one else in the industry does that, guys, okay? We're a 21-person company. This is what we're doing. This is what rezStream is doing, okay? We're not trying to take over the world. We're trying to make independent properties' lives better. Back to that, one of those first slides, the foundation, the founders of this company, what we believe in, the existing owner, what he believes in, is making your lives better, and this is what we're doing through these tools. Great things are coming from rezStream. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. A couple other things here that I wanted to touch on that I feel are very, very, very important to all of us that I've heard a ton. Now, granted, these aren't the only things in the future, so let me just set the expectation out there. There's a lot of things coming. But 2 things that really stand out. The first is an open API, okay? What is an API, Josh? It's a software intermediary that makes it possible for application programs to interact with each other and share data. What? Huh? What does that mean? Well, when I read that, it started to hurt my head, so I went and I put this pretty picture of a bunch of kids in a sandbox, basically this is a fancy way of saying we're going to play nice with others, okay? Well, what exactly does that mean? How many of you have come to us at some point or another, or haven't because you know we don't have the capability currently, and have wondered, man, I sure would love if rezStream could talk to bedandbreakfast.com, or Josh, I don't want to be on the GDS and have access to everybody. I only want to work with Expedia, or I only want to work with Booking.com, and I want your reservation software to talk to it. Or you use a point-of-sale restaurant system or OpenTable to book your reservations, or you want to be on HomeAway because you're a vacation rental, or you want a different accounting software that you'd like to work with. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is, okay? This open API is a fancy way of saying that we play nice with others, and our reservation software will talk to anyone else out there that you would like to communicate with. Now, let me be very clear and set the expectations appropriately for you guys. Every one of you probably wants to work with a different company. But again, we can't just take all of our programming resources and build a connection to everybody and their brother out there that you guys all want. So what we do is we build an open API, and if it's not something that we have the time for, or there isn't the desire amongst the masses to build that connection, we'll be able to basically send our code information to that company, and that company can build an interface to our software. So if they want your business and you want to work with them, they can actually write to our software using our specs or this open API interface. This is a game changer, in my opinion. No matter whom you want to work with, what program you want to work with, as long as they can write to the open API interface and the spec of our software, this is what's going to happen in the future. Now, this will not be available at launch. This is very complicated and time-intensive. However, this is on our roadmap. This is something that we have targeted for 2014, and this is a very important goal of ours. So I hope you guys are excited. The second thing that I'd like to talk about, because I hear about it all the time, is yield management. Okay, what is yield management? It's the process of making frequent adjustments in the price of a room in response to certain market factors such as demand or competition. So a basic form of yield management that I like to use an example of is, let's say you set parameters in your software that look something like this. My rates are $100 a night, and when I get to 85% occupancy and demand is very high, I want to raise the rates 15% to raise them up, so that way I can take advantage of the demand that's there and not leave any money on the table. Vice versa, yield management can go the other way in its simplistic form. Let's say my occupancy is low, 30%, 20% midweek, and I need heads and beds. Well, I can have parameters set so that price automatically lowers, so that way I can start driving some heads and beds and filling up these rooms so I don't have empty room nights. So yield management allows the ability to help you manage your property based on these different market factors or demand or even competition for that matter. Now, with that being said, there are companies out there that do nothing but yield management. So through our process and our trials and the feedback within the community, we really need to understand how diverse this needs to be. At launch, yield management will not be available, which is why this is titled The Future. However, this is on our roadmap, and the goal is to get some simplistic yield management, which is typically what we hear people are looking for. And for those of you that may need some more complex yield management features, that's where the open API comes into play so that you can connect with those companies that provide those things. So the best of both worlds, as I like to call it. This is what the future holds, guys, with this product. Very, very, very exciting. Okay, poll question 3. This is the last of the poll questions. I'm in section 5 of 6 here, so I'm almost done here. Bear with me a couple minutes if you would, please. Last poll question here. This poll question, this is related to the open API connection. Is there currently a third-party vendor you would like your reservation software to integrate with? So I'm going to launch this question out to you. You should see it now. So is there someone that you've wanted to work with? Is there someone that you think you might want to work with in the future? Is there someone that you've asked us to work with in the past and unfortunately we had to tell you no? Who is it? You know, what is it? You know, what do you guys need? I'm curious to see of you attending today, which is about 55 people, how many of you think that this is important? You have someone in mind. Curious to get this feedback here, guys, and excited at the same time. So I'll let this run about 20, 30 more seconds. We're about 74% of you have voted. So if the rest of you can jump in, that would be awesome. Okay, a couple more seconds here. Okay, I'm going to close it down. I'm going to share this feedback with you guys so you can see. So 76%, an alarming number in a good way. 76% of you said, absolutely, Joshua, I definitely want the ability, or I know of someone that I want to have an open API connection with. 18% of you said, no, not that important to me today or maybe the future, and 6% of you still aren't sure. So for you 6% that aren't sure, think of it as the ability for our reservation software to work with any company that you want it to. So if you want to work with Booking.com, our software can work with just Booking.com. If you want to work with a concierge app that your guests are talking about, that they want to have the ability to work an app while they're at their property to communicate with your front desk, to ask for more pillows or room service, that's the ability. So think of it as a way for the reservation software to work with anyone or any program out there. That's what that means. If that still doesn't make sense, guys, email me, call me. That's what I'm here for, to answer these questions. Okay, I'm going to hide that, and you should see my screen again. Okay, so towards the end here, most common questions, frequently asked questions, okay? I've probably had over 100 conversations about this product in the last year plus, and these are the top questions that I get over and over and over again, so I wanted to cover them for you guys today. The first question, Josh, can rezStream convert my existing rezStream professional data? Yes, and I put it in caps, guys. Very, very important. No one wants to do data entry. No one wants to lose existing historical information. Even if you don't access it, it's important. And I know that, the company knows it, and we've done exactly that. Now, that means your rooms, your rates, your taxes, your packages, your point of sale items, your contacts, your invoices, your advance bookings, your advance reservations, your payment history from the past, everything, we will be able to take except for credit cards. By law, we're not allowed to take credit cards. I can't transfer credit cards. That's how people get hacked and bad things happen. We've all heard the Target story. Nobody wants any of that coming down on their business, okay? So we will take all of your data and we will convert it for you through our conversion wizard with the exception of credit card information. Second question. How will credit card processing work? Okay, well, I could talk about this for an hour and there could be 100 questions. In its simplistic form, we have built, we'll have a connection with a company called Shift4, and Shift4 acts as a payment gateway, okay? In order to process a credit card, you need two things. You need a merchant account, which is the person that allows you to process credit cards, your local bank, a processor, and you need a payment gateway. We're building a connection with a payment gateway called Shift4. Shift4 can work with anyone. So if you currently use PayPros or you currently use a local bank that you've been dealing with forever, you can keep that company. That will not change. In order for it to be integrated into the reservation software, you will now utilize the Shift4 gateway, okay? For the 100 customers that use the merchant gateway, that will now be replaced with the Shift4 gateway. Merchant Partners wasn't at a point where they could communicate utilizing the tokenization technology that we're going to be using moving forward. So there will be a little bit of a change for you there. The good news is it'll be cheaper. So we beat these guys up pretty good to get the best rates possible for all of our clients on this gateway. So we'll go into more details about that later on. Third question. When is this thing going to be ready? It's been 18 months, average, according to Josh and his research, around 2 years, a little more. When is this thing going to be ready, okay? Our internal goal is to release this product, launch of this product in August of this year, so August 2014, so a couple months away, okay? Now, again, let me be very, very clear about this. It is 100 times more important for us to provide you with the best software program that your money can buy than it is for us to meet an August release. So as we go through beta and we get feedback and we make adjustments, if there's things that we need to do to ensure that this product is phenomenal, we will do that, okay? So trust me, no one wants this product in the market more than rezStream does, and you guys do. We're doing everything in our power. We have 100% of our programming resources focused on this day in and day out. For those of you that have called us up and asked for things to get done, and unfortunately we had to politely say no, that's why. We're trying to get this product out for you guys. Hopefully you've seen from all the things we've covered today how great this is going to be for you. The fourth question, how much is it going to cost me? How much are you going to charge us, Josh? This has not been finalized yet. Okay, now don't get frustrated by that. We want to make sure that we do this the right way and no one's getting overcharged or anything like that. Okay, so it's undetermined. However, here's what I do know. We're going to package this product in a monthly pricing fee where you're going to get the Cloud Reservation Software, you're going to get the online booking engine, and you're going to get business hours technical support. So if anyone's paying a commission or a flat fee per booking on the booking engine, that's going to go away. It's going to be unlimited. So whether you get 10 online bookings a month or you get 10,000, it doesn't matter. You're going to pay a flat fee, no more commission. So we're going to bundle those three things together. The other thing that I know that we all wanted here internally that was fought hard for is no upgrade or setup fees to existing customers. You guys are our past, our present, and our future. We want to reward you for your loyalty and your patience to our products and our company. We're not going to charge you any type of setup or upgrade fee that we will be charging all new clients that join this product. So within the next month or so, as we finalize our research, we will definitely announce the cost of the product. Now, one thing that I am fairly certain on that I don't think Christian, our owner, would be upset by me mentioning is we're looking to go to a fee per unit per month, okay? So instead of having different tiers where if you have 1 to 10 rooms, it's this price, we don't like that model because the person that has 10 rooms gets a break and the person that has 1 room isn't as happy, right? So we want it to be fair across the board. So a certain fee per room per month is where we're going, and again, that's going to include the software, the booking engine, and the business hours technical support. The last question here, which is a big question, what happens when the internet goes down? What happens when the internet goes down? I'm in rural Kansas and my internet's spotty, or I don't have access to these broadbands and I got to go through this guy for internet. It's spotty here and there, okay? That's a concern. That's a concern even for those of you that have the booking engine, okay? But it is what it is. It's where technology's at, and those things will continue to improve. For 90–95% of us, it's not an issue at all. Now, if the internet does go down, a couple things here. A secondary device on a cellular network will work. I spoke to a gentleman, Tifton, at Pi in January, and when his internet goes down through his little town, he can pop on maybe his cell phone and still have access to the internet. Same thing's going to happen here, okay? The front desk computer goes down, use your cell phone. If your tablet's hooked up to a cellular network, you're going to have that as a backup. The other thing that you're going to have is the offline mode, meaning that you're still going to be able to use the program and some of the screens there in an offline state, and then when the internet comes back on, all of the changes you made in that offline mode are going to update to the server, and everything's going to update everywhere, to the booking engine, to the software, to all the users, okay? So it's not everything has stopped, oh my God, I can't use the program anymore. That is not the case, okay? So let me make that very clear. If the internet goes down, you're not, excuse my language, shit out of luck. You're still going to have the ability to utilize the program in some fashion to manage and run your business, okay? So that's a very important question that I've got a lot of times, especially for those of you that aren't sure about the cloud or the internet and things of that nature. So very important for you guys to understand. Let's see here. I think that wraps it up, guys. Let me jump in here and see if I have any questions. See if I can open this up here. Sorry, give me a second. Someone asked about a property management module. Josh, what about the property management module for those of us that have vacation rentals? Great question. At launch of the product, the property management module will not be in there. There are enhancements and adjustments we would like to make to that product, but it's not something that will be there at launch. However, it is on the roadmap. It is on our radar for 2014, and obviously the amount of users that utilize that particular module, you know, that's going to determine how quickly we get that out. I know it's important to a lot of you, so it will be a focus. But good question. That's the answer to the question. Will the system support multiple properties? Absolutely, absolutely. Now, not at launch it won't, but down the road it will. And one of the things that we have to determine is there's a couple different scenarios. I have 2 different properties, but I take all of the reservations out of one location, or I have 2 different properties and I take reservations in different locations. So these are the things that we have to work out and how that's going to work into the database. We want to make sure that that's efficient for you guys. So the answer to the question is absolutely will be there, but not at initial launch, okay? Let's see here. A couple others. Give me a sec. Can we do remote check-ins, perhaps on a phone or a tablet? Excellent question. Excellent question. Not at launch, but that's definitely on a roadmap. We've talked about it. We've talked about doing electronic signatures. So how cool would it be if you've got a line at the front desk, 10 people deep, and you walk up and you have a tablet and you check them in right there on the fly, and you get their signature that a lot of you need right there on the tablet, and they just use their finger. This is where we're going. The answer to your question is yes, that will be there, not on initial launch though, okay? Initial launch, we're focusing on the basic features that everyone's going to need. The next question is will you have a phone app for rezStream for the iPhone? Great question. We've talked about this. I don't think we've necessarily decided the direction. However, with that being said, it's going to be a responsive solution, meaning that it will display perfectly on your iPhone, and it should work convenient enough for you where you're not going to have to go to the App Store and download an app and potentially pay a fee for it and have it locally installed. If you have internet access on your smartphone, you're going to be able to use that software program. So I'm not sure is the answer to the question, but nonetheless, you'll still be able to use your smartphone to access the program. Let's see. One of the questions here is will we be able to keep the desktop versions, the rezStream Professional version? Let me be very clear about this. The answer is yes. You own it. You bought it. You can keep it as long as you like. However, these are 2 separate products, okay? So if you keep the desktop software, it would probably be more for historical purposes. It is not going to sync with the cloud reservation software. As wonderful as the desktop software is, and we've all loved it and used it for years, it is dated. It is a dinosaur in terms of where technology is at and the back-end database and how it's utilized today. So yes, you can keep that product, but it will not sync with the cloud software. And for those of you that, excuse me, may be on the fence about looking at the cloud software, all we ask is that you give it a chance. Watch the demos, play with the product, download the trial when it's available, give it a chance. I have a very, very strong feeling that any of your concerns will be overcome with the advanced features and technology and where things are going. Let me see here. Let me try and get one more in. A good question here, okay? Really good question. Will you continue to support the old rezStream Professional software, and if so, for how long? Okay. Here's what we've discussed internally, and please, you know, I don't have definitives on this, so don't hold my feet to the fire on this one. Yes, we will continue to support the reservation software. I think what we're thinking about internally here is we're going to end of life that product about 2 years after the cloud reservation software is released. However, if we continue to have support staff that has the knowledge on that software and we can continue to support it, we most likely will at a fee, obviously. Now, with that being said, any development or fixes or adjustments to that program are going to stop, okay? It's very, very difficult for a business, especially a small business, to be able to not only put your efforts and the needed attention and the money involved and the programming resources in a new product and also support the old one. So there will be a time where that product will go away, just like every company has with their products, no matter if you're Microsoft or you're rezStream, okay? Guys, I think that wraps up the questions. If I didn't get to it, I'll try and jump in here and see if I can see who wrote the question and then maybe shoot you an email directly, or feel free to reach out to me. A couple things I want to point out to you here before I let you go. I plan on doing one of these a month at the end of the month for the next several months, okay? So the next webinar on this cloud product is going to be on Thursday, May 29th. Here's where you can go and sign up and see all of our webinars, not just on the cloud software. We're doing a lot of educational stuff, so I'd really encourage you guys to branch out and watch these. If you can't attend the webinar, we also record them, okay? So you can have access to those recordings. So help educate, stay involved, see what's going on. The other thing is we're going to be shooting out some information pieces and updates via our blog. So go ahead and sign up to our blog if you're not already signed up. Also, guys, you know, we play a lot and we're experts in social media. So Facebook, Twitter, you know, follow us on those channels to get instant access updates. Whether you can't make webinars or view the documentation or what have you, you know, stay involved with us. We're here to educate. And lastly here, please contact anyone at rezStream for any questions. We love talking to you guys. That's what we're here for. Again, you know, I'm maybe not necessarily the easiest guy to get to or get a hold of, but I will get back to you, I promise, as soon as I can. Feel free to reach out to me directly or anyone here, and we'll get you the answers that you need. Really appreciate your guys' attendance today. I hope you guys are excited as I am. And again, we're looking forward to the future. We're looking forward to helping you guys and taking you guys' businesses to the next level. So thank you very much for your following, your loyalty, and we look forward to working with you guys for a long time. Thank you guys very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.